Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Many bars and restaurants are celebrating after a successful first weekend back in business in over a month. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with two local spots today who say they're excited to get back to normal soon.
After weeks of only seeing customers via takeout or delivery, Silver Dollar owner Kurt Leopard says it was refreshing to be back.
It was nice just to see bodies and people and interact. That's been the hardest thing, is not being able to see customers enjoy what you do and what you make.
Leopard says their sales are still down about 40% from what a normal weekend would look like, but says he's still happy with how it went.
You know, we're on a growth spurt finally after a few years of kind of flatlining. So kind of came at the wrong time, but nothing we can do about it.
And Big Irv's general manager Daniel Pretzer says while their first weekend went well too, there's still a few hiccups to address.
The biggest struggle we have right now is it's a bar. You come to have fun, you come to drink and be with your friends, and you have to stay in your seat. You can't get up and mingle. You can't stand at the bar. You cannot walk up to the bar and get a drink.
She says servers did have to remind a few people to take their seats and says they're considering getting a bouncer to help with the task as well.
And it's not us being mean. It's not us trying to put a damper on your weekend out. It's us following the guidelines.
Adding she doesn't want to be the bar that ruins it for everyone else.
If too many people fail their checks, you know, they could just close us all down again. And that's the last thing anybody wants, is to have to go back to that.
Between heavy cleaning and sanitizing, as well as tables at least 6 feet apart, Pretzer and Leopard say they hope customers become more comfortable as the days and weeks go on, in hopes of having as normal a summer as possible. Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
West Fargo Police and the Cass County Sheriff's Department say they will be checking in on bars and restaurants to make sure they are compliant with the guidelines, and say owners could face fines or citations if they're found to be in violation. North Dakota health officials are now confirming 34 new cases of COVID-19 across the state. Cass County has the highest number of confirmed cases, totaling 630. Grand Forks is now the second highest with 269 cases confirmed. Burleigh County now has 83 cases confirmed, making them the third highest in the state. So far, over 34,000 people have been tested in North Dakota. There are now 1,225 positive COVID-19 cases confirmed. 31 people are currently hospitalized, but 540 people have recovered. The state now has 15 deaths due to COVID-19. Governor Burgum announced today that there will be limited services at the state's 15 campgrounds beginning Saturday. Campgrounds will be opening for no service camping. Electrical sites will have power, but water may not be available on site. Marinas will be opening. Gas may not be available at this time. Meanwhile, in Minnesota, coronavirus the cases have now climbed to more than 7,000 people. The total is 7,234, an increase of 571 from the day before. The death toll increased by 9 to 428. 4,212 people are listed as recovered in the state. We have a full breakdown on the VNL News app. It's been one of those days, no getting rid of the gloomy skies, and some of us have seen a fair amount of rain, too. Here's Hutch with a look at our first alert forecast. Hey, Hutch.
Andrea, thanks so much. As we look in on I-94 from our studios in South Fargo, wet concrete out there and some greening rain showers after a dry and breezy weekend across the valley. Some of the heaviest showers are just now pushing into the eastern third of North Dakota. It has been raining out west for the better part of the day. And we have some heavy showers near Oaks, near Ellendale, and here in the central Red River Valley, Fargo and points north through northern Cass County, northern Barnes County, and on up towards Grand Forks, particularly western Grand Forks County, where you see the yellows and oranges here. Heavier rain showers. Here is a look at your planner for Fargo tonight, slipping through the 40s, cool, gray. At least it won't be very windy. Many of us by morning, Andrew, will be picking up between 1/2 of an inch and 1.5 inches of rainfall. Some a little more, some significantly less, depending on where the heavy bands go. I'll have details in your hour-by-hour forecast and what you can expect and when we get more sunshine to green things up across the valley.
All right, thanks, Hutch. A 22-year-old Jamestown woman is now in jail after police say she pointed a shotgun at her boyfriend and fired it. Police say it happened yesterday afternoon when the boyfriend called in to say his on-again, off-again girlfriend fired a shot in his general direction. He was not hurt. Kelsey Camoni is facing charges of terrorizing, reckless endangerment, and firing a gun in city limits. Police are investigating after a motorcyclist death, which may have involved a bizarre chain of events. The Otter Tail County Sheriff's Department says it got a call for the crash around 9 last night near Earhart, and the caller said they saw an SUV hit the biker. Authorities arrived on scene and tried to save the man, but he died. They believe before the SUV hit the man, he hit a deer on his motorcycle. The biker was not wearing a helmet. The victim is a man from Dent, Minnesota. No other information is being released about him. The driver of the SUV is a 53-year-old woman from Earhart, Minnesota. Moorhead Public Service is alerting customers to a water heater scam that's hitting the community. MPS says some customers have received suspicious letters asking for information on their water heater by a certain time or face possible fines or penalties. MPS says they do not ask or need this type of information and would not use threatening tactics to get it. They say any call or letter like this is not from them. Also, do not provide any financial or personal information. You can call their office if you believe you've been scammed. The phone number is 218-477-8000. Many in the Valley were frustrated when they found out mass testing for COVID-19 at the Fargo Dome was canceled today. It was supposed to take place from 1 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. and was specifically for people who still had to go to work or may have been exposed to the virus. Governor Burgum acknowledged today that the state ran out of supplies to test people. Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard spoke with people in the metro who were upset it was called off just hours before.
It was infuriating, terrifying all at once.
Stephanie Rogers from Fargo was looking forward to getting a COVID test at the Fargo Dome Monday.
I was just at the emergency room last night, and although I didn't have any symptoms, I had a fever and the doctor asked about it. So I was kind of looking forward to being able to know for sure.
Fargo Cass Public Health says there's a shortage of testing supplies at the North Dakota Department of Health's microbiology lab. The North Dakota Joint Information Center says they have big decisions to make and they are holding off on doing interviews right now. But many on Facebook voiced their concerns over canceling the event 2 hours before it was supposed to start.
That was really kind of sad because you got to figure people from other communities might even have took off time from work. They might have just had to leave a household and they didn't need to. They're halfway there, if not already there, and then you find out it's not available.
Robert Smith is telling people to think again before they go and get tested.
If you're not around anybody that is or known to be infected, if you're not having any symptoms whatsoever, let's not waste our resources or the people's time testing you.
In Fargo, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
In his daily news conference today, Governor Doug Burgum said they scrambled to find testing supplies the past few days. And thanks to NDSU, they found some and now have the capacity to test about 9,600 more people. We reached out to those in charge to see when that testing event will resume, but haven't heard back yet. To stay up to date on the latest, you can download our VNL News app. The University of North Dakota says nearly 400 employees will have their hours reduced after an $11 million budget shortfall. UND blames the coronavirus outbreak for the economic squeeze. They say they've had to refund money for students living in dorms who left early, and they expect low enrollment in the fall. Moreover, they've put in place a hiring freeze. This has impacted the university's custodial staff, where 84 of them out of 127 had their hours reduced to at least 0. Costco and Menards are rolling out new store guidelines today. Costco employees are already required to wear face masks, and now starting today, the same rule applies at Menards. Costco is also requiring shoppers to wear face masks or face coverings and is updating store hours to allow for more cleaning time. Costco is putting a temporary limit on fresh beef, pork, and poultry purchases to a total of 3 items per Costco member. Menards is no longer allowing pets or children under the age of 16 in their stores. The country is getting restless and tired of being quarantined. The risks they're taking with coronavirus rules is still ahead tonight.
It's been wet for much of the day in the central Dakotas, and it's just arriving. A wet evening, a wet overnight, and for some, wet on Tuesday. Hour by hour details are coming up right after this.